Hi everyone. I have a bit of a strange and specific message today, so that's why I'm posting this video as a mini reading instead of as one of my main reading videos that I do collectively on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which, by the way, feel free to tune in on those times and days if you do want to be here for the live premiere. There's a really beautiful high vibrational live chat during those premieres as well. So they're really special segments of time and portals of energy. But this is being done outside of that typical posting schedule because this message is very hyper specific. The connection I'm picking up on, well, right as I even just mentioned the connection and caught a hold of that thread of energy here, I felt this wave of emotion that almost brought forth tears because there's been so much buildup here energetically, emotionally, spiritually, and maybe even physically. If you've already physically interacted with this person, which I am getting that is the case for many of you listening. I'm getting as well that for many of you, there's a very sacred component to this bond. This is a part of your spiritual journey. This isn't just something romantic, although I do feel that it's been romantic on one or both sides in the past, whether those feelings were expressed or unexpressed. But I feel that this was somehow, the word pivotal is coming through, very pivotal for you on your life path. This person connecting with this other soul consciously in this lifetime altered you in some kind of way, and you altered them as well. And you elevated each other's pathways in some way, even if that elevating that happened mutually wasn't fully evident until later on down the line. But the sense that I'm getting is that there was a time where you were more physically locked into this connection or fixated on this person or some kind of journey with them. Again, it could have been a twin flame, a sacred lover, divine counterpart, high-level soulmate of some kind. But this person was very spiritually activating for you. And there was a time where the two of you were much more physically connected. I don't know what that means for you, but it could have been that you were in a relationship or you were together in some form romantically, or maybe you just were in more communication or spent more time together. And I just keep getting the word fixation. I feel like you had a very singular focus at that time physically on this person and on this connection. But when I channel into their energy physically during that time, I'm getting the word scattered. So I feel like you were focused singularly on them and their energy and attention was scattered. And the word brokenhearted is coming through, and numb. I feel like this left you feeling disrespected, brokenhearted, and very numb because you connected with this person's soul, but there seemed to be a lack of fulfillment when it came to the physical parts of that relationship, whether it was that this person was actively disrespecting you in some way, not acknowledging you, or that they just seem to have like this split focus or this scattered focus that slowly wore down on you and ultimately left you feeling really brokenhearted. And I'm hearing you walked away with the pieces, but not all of you. Wow, this is a very emotional energy. I don't know if like you physically lived with this person and then moved out, or you lived in a certain city or place that they lived in and then you moved away. But I get the sense that there was potentially a geographical move here as well. That won't be for everyone. But there was definitely an emotional moving forward where it's like you went forward with your life and you abandoned some kind of union timeline with this person, not because you wanted to, but because you had to. And I'm getting that what happened is you knew deep down that the timeline you were on with this person, the union timeline that you were so fixated on creating with this person, because it's almost like you wanted the physical to align with the spiritual, but that just wasn't happening. Spiritually, you felt so aligned and connected with this person. You felt so fueled in a way in your purpose, so inspired when you were around them, and yet they were breaking your heart physically and not meeting your needs physically. And you came to this realization that there's a reason you're human here on earth too. You're meant to be human, and you're meant to be loved as a human, not just as a soul, meaning there's a difference between feeling a soul love where you know deep down someone loves you and feels for you unconditionally, that there's a profound soul history there. There's a difference between that and being, I see someone like bringing someone soup when they're sick, or giving someone flowers, or a back rub, or like showing up for someone, cheering someone on actively in the human realm. And I feel your human self was suffering for the sake of this soul love. Your human self wasn't being nourished or nurtured or loved. And I'm getting, you may have, even as a result of this, neglected your own human self physically in some way, where it almost felt like the life was being drained out of you. Maybe other people even noticed this as well, where you just became very low energy or very tired, or you weren't giving yourself the kind of self-care and self-nourishing that you needed, because yes, you were like living so from the soul, but that human aspect of your life was being neglected. And I feel that ultimately this reached a breaking point where you realized that I'm hearing, had to surrender. There was a feeling of, I know that when I leave this union timeline, at least for now, that I'm not going to be able to take all of me with me, because what I get is it's almost like your soul fragmented a bit in that moment, where a part of you was still there on that timeline, living it out with all of its highs and lows, with all of its pain and grief, but also its beauty, with all of that sense of conflict. And so I feel that ever since you left that timeline, things have been very complicating for you, because parts of you have felt more nurtured and more alive. I feel like you've been on this beautiful journey of self-love ever since, where you've been learning to care for your physical human self again, to love and embrace yourself for your entirety, for your soul and your human physical aspect as well. And I feel that in this time, you've been able to either meet or connect with other souls that reflect that budding self-love, that growing feeling of self-love back to you in physical real-time ways, whether it's friends, family members, your soul tribe, strangers, or maybe for some of you, this has been new romantic options or connections. I feel like whatever way you've opened yourself up to the world, there have been moments of feeling more seen and more loved and more cared for than you ever imagined possible. And so there's been this aspect of it that's felt so fulfilling and so beautiful and cathartic in a way. I'm also getting something about your creativity and how you've been opening up creatively. And mainly where I see this expansion is in your throat chakra. Your heart was already open. Your heart has been very open for a while, but I feel that your throat chakra became very weak, especially during your time physically with this person, where you were trying to deny parts of your own inner truth that were hard to face for the sake of making things work physically with this person. But when you surrendered and let go and began opening up to loves and people and spaces that actually fueled you and made you feel good, this allowed you to reconnect with that throat chakra energy, with your own inner truth, your authentic self. And I see this flourishing there, like this expanding, this like almost like, I literally see like a flower on your throat that's like opening and growing and expanding. And I feel that from this open throat chakra energy, a lot of creativity has flowed through as well, in whatever that means for you. However, I'm hearing you've connected back with your creative self, maybe the creative self that you were even when you were a child. There's also like this aspect of inner child healing here, where you are exploring more of your playful side and maybe even gifts or hobbies or ideas that you kind of used to play with when you were a child. And yet, with all of that beauty, there's also been a sadness here and a bit of a hollowness. That's the conflict that I am describing. And again, this reading is so hyper specific, so this won't be for everyone. But what I'm getting is, if this is for you, it's very complicating because I feel you wouldn't have traded this journey for anything. And you're so grateful deep in your heart that you had the courage to walk away from that union timeline when it wasn't supporting you and it wasn't serving you. And you're so proud of yourself. And by the way, you should be so proud of yourself because so few people are going to understand how difficult it is to choose yourself, to choose your well-being, to love yourself enough to walk away from a connection that is so profoundly soul activating and spiritually encompassing, but that wasn't meeting you where you are physically or meeting your true human needs as a human here on earth. There's so much courage that goes into making a choice like that I'm getting few people will ever understand because they'll never experience a love like that. And I feel like there's also a rarity and a beauty in the fact that you've been able to experience a love that actually activates you spiritually, that expands your soul in this way. And I feel that because of you connecting with this person, somehow that experience has altered the course of your life in a way for the better. It's aligned you with some kind of core soul purpose or more with your truest version of self. And yet it came with so much pain and so much grief as well. And so what I'm getting now is ever since you left that timeline, again, I see someone packing a suitcase, but they can't take everything with them. And that's almost how you left this timeline. Maybe for you that was literal, but for others of you, it's symbolic, where you packed what you could. Oh, I'm getting emotional channeling this. This is so deep. I'm hearing you packed what you could carry, but not everything would fit in the suitcase. So symbolically, it's like you could only carry so much with you into this timeline that you've been now aligned with for a while. And I'm hearing it's been a timeline of growth and creativity, independence, a level of freedom, like exhilaration in a way, but also the unknown. I'm hearing like you chose the unknown timeline over this known kind of union pathway because your heart couldn't take it anymore. The grief and the disconnect and the loneliness that came with that timeline, because the thing is, it didn't have to be that way, but the person that you were connecting with while you were aligned with their soul, their human self, was very wounded. I'm even getting the word traumatized. So they may have gone through literal traumatization in their life that created this wounding in their own soul that caused them in their human form to be more scattered in terms of their focus and attention, and to be less present with you or connected with you or attuned to your needs as a human. But what I'm getting is part of you stayed on that timeline energetically, and you've felt this ever since you left. I'm hearing I've tried everything, because I feel that for the person I'm channeling into here, you've tried cord cutting, you've tried to meditate and manifest this away. Maybe you've worked with a spiritual advisor or a therapist. Maybe I'm hearing you've talked endlessly about it to certain people in your life, whether it's friends or family members, but it feels almost like talking or thinking in circles, because at the end of the day, what you're dealing with is a very rare, sacred, intense kind of soul connection. And there's always going to be some part of you that's there on that timeline because of how connected you are with this person. But that doesn't mean that you can't live a deeply happy and fulfilling and beautiful life in whatever way you choose to do so apart from that union timeline. And I feel that's what this period of time has been teaching you. I'm hearing that it's safe to open to love again, whether that's platonic or romantic love, or even love for yourself. I'm hearing that, wow, okay, so much coming through. I'm hearing that ever since you left that timeline, this time has been teaching you something. It's been teaching you, first of all, that you can stand on your own, that you have the wherewithal and the strength and the confidence to stand on your own. that you have many people who want to love you and who want to support you, whether that's, again, platonic, romantic, in terms of community, to show you just how lovable you are and how magnetic you are and how you can create whatever life you desire. This time has been slowly opening you to those truths and teaching you how to connect with that creative force within you, to unleash it out into the world. I just keep hearing to know that you can walk on your own. But it's almost like something's very strange is happening now. And the reason I'm channeling into all this is for the specific group I'm tuned into, something strange has been occurring where you've now recently been catching flashes or glimpses back into this timeline, but not really back. It's more like you're seeing this timeline progressing into the future. And these are almost like visions that come to you where maybe you see yourself like marrying this person or with this person in a long-term relationship, or like living with them or being in some kind of physical union state with them. And I'm getting for many of you, this is something you haven't really given much conscious thought to in a long time. So it seems very random that these thoughts are, and again, they're not even really thoughts, they're like flashes of visions are coming into your mind. And you may be wondering, like, where is this coming from? Why am I almost feeling a sort of vague longing for this futuristic version of a timeline that I made the conscious decision to let go of for a reason? If this is happening to you, you seeing this reading isn't a coincidence. I know this is only going to reach a certain group of people, but what I literally wrote in my journal about this is catching flashes or glimpses of this union timeline means you are coming into the energetic vicinity of it, which wasn't accessible to you in the past, though it was something you wanted. This is coming back up for your reconsideration. A former rejection is coming back across your desk for a reconsideration. And when I channeled this, I literally saw you sitting at this desk. It's almost like you are in this position of power. You've come into your own power. You've come into your own confidence, almost like this CEO kind of energy. Maybe you literally do have your own business or your own thing going, but I'm just getting a very powerful energy from you where you really call the shots in your life and you've learned how to do this, how to stand on your own. But it's like you're at a desk and I see this piece of paper coming out and it has, or coming across your desk, and it has a stamp that says rejected from before. It's like now coming across your desk revised, and it's asking you to take another look at it and to reconsider it. But I'm hearing the choice is up to you. So what I mean by this is if you're catching flashes or glimpses of you being with this person from your past, what this means is it's almost like you're being prepared for the fact that energetically, things have been shifting quite a bit. And that union timeline that you left behind, again, not because you wanted to at the time, but because quite literally it was a necessity. You had to. I feel like you were pushed right to the brink of something, whether it was your sanity or just like your well-being. You had to leave. But you always knew deep down. I feel you knew intuitively at the time, and maybe how you even convinced yourself to go is you knew it was also the only way to preserve that timeline, because you knew if you stayed on it, things, I'm hearing like the world would burn metaphorically. You knew that that timeline was not going to go good places. And if you were to stay connected to that physical timeline at that time, it essentially would have descended into chaos and led to almost like a permanent disconnect. But because you had the courage to veer off onto your own path, to leave that timeline alone for a while to kind of mend itself, so to speak, or maybe even more specifically, to leave that person alone for a while to process and to heal themselves in a way, in more of a container. Because you did that, on some level, you always knew it was also the only way to preserve that timeline potentially for the future. The thing is, now or very soon, this may be happening now for some of you, this might be soon for others of you, that old timeline that you walked away from, it's mended itself to a certain degree. It's elevated itself. And it's almost like coming back up to match you at your vibration, coming back into the vicinity of your energetic bandwidth, and therefore presenting itself as an option for your reconsideration. Now, just because something is presenting itself to you doesn't mean that you have to take that option. And that's really being emphasized by the guides here, that I'm hearing you are allowed to choose. And part of what this period of independence has been for you is to remind you that you have options and that you can either take another pathway, another option. You could connect with a different form of soulmate. You can choose what feels good for you, what feels aligned for you, or you are also strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet and you don't have to choose anything right now. There also is no time pressure on this, and that's being emphasized as well, to remove all sense of time pressure, because you operate on your own timeline, which really is your higher divine timing. And the message coming through is remove all time pressure from the equation, remove societal expectations or other people's expectations from the equation, and get real with yourself about what you really want. Allow yourself to explore different options, different opportunities, different pathways, things that light you up, whether those are hobbies, interests, groups of people, connections, jobs, whatever this is for you. And give yourself the permission to choose, but know that if you've been receiving these kind of glimpses of flashes into a future with this person from your past, they are going to be re-entering your life in a different form, in a more elevated form, and asking for you to reconsider them. And again, that is going to be your choice. It's like you're getting these flashes or glimpses into a timeline with this person, some kind of like harmonious union timeline that you deeply desired in the past, but that quite literally would not have been possible in the past. Another strong message coming through is when this occurs, it's very important that you remember and remind yourself, this isn't about regretting having left that timeline, because the thing is, you made the only choice. If you had stayed on that timeline, just like your intuition told you at the time, by the way, that harmonious union that's now possible for you with this person, if you desire it, actually would not have been possible. It was only by leaving temporarily and going off on your own pathway, choosing yourself, that you actually allowed that timeline and that person to heal. But they are going to be coming back around. And again, like for your reconsideration. And I just feel that this reading was to let you know that you made all the right decisions. Really, at times, I'm hearing the only decisions that you really could have made, but also the most intuitive decisions. It's so beautiful how intuitively connected you are and how much you honored that intuition, even when it was so heartbreaking and difficult. But also this new timeline, well, I should say a new version of this old timeline is going to be presenting itself to you. And what you're sensing through this vision or these flashes or glimpses that you're getting, these moments of longing, is you coming into the energetic vicinity of an elevated version of a timeline that you walked away from that's now coming back up for your reconsideration. So I'm going to channel a few final messages here, but if this reading is connecting for you, then I also really recommend a couple of these subliminals from my app. Specifically, my number one for you would be Love Magnetism. Regardless of whether you're desiring to manifest a union with this specific person, with someone else, or just to attract more love, more positive attention, more passion into your life, this subliminal will make you so beautifully, positively magnetic in love. It works with the portal of the subconscious mind to clear any love-related blockages that you might be storing from any of the 7 chakra centers. This will help you to feel super clear, aligned, and magnetic in your love life, but also even outside of romance, for attracting in positive situations, interactions, opportunities, and amazing people into your life as well. This is one that I personally use on my own playlist every single day. I've seen amazing results from this and from subliminals generally. I have been using them for years now to manifest in my own life. So I'm so excited to be sharing my own library of subliminals with all of you through my app, Sound and Soulful. On this app, I have over 130 subliminals for love, appearance, relationships, mindset, manifestation, money, business, and so much more. And when you create a free trial account in the app, you can access any subliminal I've created in 10 different background sound options. You can read the affirmations embedded in the track while you are listening, and you can create your own custom private playlists as well. So the link to download the app and get the Love Magnetism Subliminal to manifest more positive outcomes and movement forward in your love life is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Okay, so let's see what else I can channel from this person or situation. Can I channel anything else about this timeline? Yeah, we have Temperance in the reverse position. I feel that this has been a long time in coming. And again, on some level, your intuition always knew. I'm hearing I always knew you'd be back. Your intuition always knew that this situation was going to come back around. And now is the time, or very soon from now. I feel like the reason this is coming up in this reading is because there's like a quality to this where there's going to be some kind of opening here very soon. And so this video is to make you aware of that. I also see with the Page of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune, yeah, I feel like there's going to be some massive moment of like running into this person or where they reach out to you unexpectedly. This feels unexpected, but not just random. It's like a moment of synchronicity. There's going to be synchronicities around this, like signs from the universe where you know it's not just a coincidence. And I see with the Knight of Wands that the other person involved here, that person from your past, is going to come in wanting to move forward very quickly. And with the Hanged Man reversed, yeah, it feels like this person comes in with a totally different kind of mindset and energy than how you knew them in the past. I'm hearing it's like meeting the same person, but in a new energy is what I'm getting here. Yeah, we have the Devil card reversed. I feel like this person comes in after having overcome either one or maybe multiple major obstacles in their life, mentally or literally, obstacles that most likely kept the two of you from being able to fully connect in the past. But I'm seeing that when they meet you, you're in the position of strength. With the Strength card, you've really come into your own. You're very confident within yourself. And can I channel anything else here? Yeah, I'm really getting the sense of this person who's coming back in having overcome something major, or maybe multiple things that were some kind of point of contention between you in the past. And you may be really shocked to learn this. You may have no idea that this person was even working on making these changes. I'm hearing you're going to be surprised when you see the transformed version of this person. Yeah, with the Knight of Swords, I feel like this new version of them is very assertive, like positively assertive with you. They know what they want. They're very direct. I said previously that on that past timeline with them, they were very scattered. You were very fixated on the connection, and they seemed a bit scattered or like distracted or like they had split intentions or focus. But it's very much the opposite in this new version of them. They seem to be very focused on you, very direct, very much knowing what they want here, determined to make things work between the two of you. But I do feel with the Five of Swords, this may put you in kind of a little bit of an internal conflict, not in a negative way, but I feel like with the Nine of Cups and the Three of Pentacles, it's almost like since you left that timeline previously, you've really learned how to create your own dreams in life, or how to create the kind of life that you want. And so it's really important for you, whether it's this person from your past or other people, that you only allow people into your life in a really close way that can add to it, that can enhance it, that are collaborators and supporters emotionally and energetically. And you're very cautious about that. So I do see this creating a little bit of internal conflict, especially because this is something that you so deeply desired in the past. So I feel like it's going to bring up some conflicting emotions. And of course, I always advocate for listening to your intuition. Your intuition is your guide. This choice is yours, or you can choose not to choose as well. There's no time pressure here. But if this super specific reading was for you, I hope that this gave you some kind of insight into some of what you may have been feeling recently that didn't maybe make sense otherwise. If this did bring you clarity, then I would love to hear from you in the comments. And if you do want to keep following this thread of energy to get updates and information on it in the future, then subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you get notified when I post new videos about this. But otherwise, I'm going to close this reading here. If you would like to download my Subliminals app and use the Love Magnetism Subliminal to shift the energy around your love life and attract in more of your desires in love, then the link to get the app is in the pinned comment and description box under the video. Also, I am now creating channeled music that is streaming on all streaming platforms. My music is available under my artist name, Songs by 𝗬ficity. And my very first song, Go On to New York, is now live across streaming platforms. But specifically, if you have a Spotify, I would love for you to follow me there, because that's where I'm going to be putting out new music first. So if you want to stay updated when I create and share new channeled songs, then the link to my Spotify is in the description box of this video. These songs are going to be like little kind of time capsules in a way, little messages that channel into very specific threads of energy that tend to come through the readings. So each song is going to relay some kind of musical channeled message based on certain energies that come through these readings. So again, the link to my first song, if you're interested and guided to check it out, is in the description box. But I'm going to go ahead and close things out here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have a beautiful remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.